Good morning, YouTube. This is Mike in Detroit. I'm kind of winding up this little series I got going here on improvising. And we've been doing it on the guitar, but these concepts apply to whatever instrument you're playing. And so today is sort of the coup d'etat, at least for me. We're trying to come up with a way to improvise, and we don't have to learn 50 different scales and different modes, and we get all in our head. I've discussed this before in my other videos. So what I try to do, and you let me know if I was successful or not, is to give you some basic tools to work with. So we talked about the major scale. We talked about a few arpeggios. All over the neck. These are, and if this is new to you, watch my previous videos with a similar title. Then we talked about triads. We talked about this kind of stuff. Or this. Beautiful material for improvising on. But today, so go back and review that over and over. I do too. That's the tools you're going to build a house with. And you might have a good house in mind, but if you don't have any tools, and let me say a word about those of you who are studying music. This series is in no way to discourage you from diving deep, PhD level, into music if you want to. I just don't want to, but if you want to, and you're gonna come up with things, there are other tools. Is what I'm trying to say. You got Dorian scales, you got melodic minor scales, you got exotic scales. And so even when you finish this little, what I call basic, get by kind of series, if you want to take it further and add more tools to your toolbox, I am not mad at you. Because you're going to get some interesting sounds and some new, but this is fundamental. This is basic stuff that I'm talking about, which kind of works. But as musicians, we're always searching for new sounds. Okay, so today, what's on my mind is crafting melodies. I mean, that's what improvising is. I mean, it's making up melodies on the spot. So I don't know how you do anything unless you practice that. Not the melodies you remember or not the licks that you have learned, but you can actually make up some stuff on the fly, and you have pretty much confidence in that. So we're going to use, we're going to go back to our staple song, Autumn Leaves. And we're going to practice, I think, or we're going to make an attempt to dig into how do I come up with melodies on the fly. So I'm going to give you a formula to work with. It's not the only one. Maybe they don't teach this in school. But one of the ways you come up with melodies is that you do melodic analysis of the songs you love. Take Autumn Leaves. That's the melody. Well, don't just play that, just figure out what's going on here. And then when it goes here, what is going on here? So if you can figure out the songs that you really melodies that really touch you, and you can get the root of what's going on, then now you can do the same with your melodies. So here's the formula for your consideration. Number one, think in 2-bar phrases. Think of 2-bar phrases. 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1. So Autumn Leaves follows that. So if it's good enough for that composer, probably good enough for your improv too. So think in 2-bar phrases. Now, is this a hard and fast rule? No. So that's better than your audience has to digest the story that you're trying to tell. So that's the first rule, think in 2-bar phrases. All right, so in the first 2 bars, you're going to generate an idea. That's nothing but an idea. It could be anything. So we'll talk about that in a minute. How do I come up with these ideas? But think in the first 2 bars, idea generation. That's where most of us need most of our practice, in idea generation. Okay? So we came up with something. In the second 2 bars, let's call that reinforce that idea. Or another way to look at that is repetition. You say, Mike, that's not repetition. You play different notes. But did you hear the same rhythm? So it's not melodic repetition, although it could have been. It's rhythmic repetition. And actually, Autumn Leaves does it again. Rhythmic repetition. So actually, Autumn Leaves does it 3 times. So it extended my little formula of thinking in 2-bar phrases. So you see, it's not a hard and fast rule. But get the concept down. The first thing you want to do is get an idea. The second thing you want to do is reinforce that idea. Now, the third thing you want to do is move forward motion, and we'll talk about a couple of ways I know how to do that. Is get some motion in your solos. And then the last thing you want to do is phrase resolution. Okay, so that we're going to call that, we're bringing that phrase to a close. Now, think of that or practice that in 2-bar phrases, and the audience can now track you. So let's go over that again. Idea generation, repetition, forward motion, and resolution. So I'm going to start and stop my backing track here. If I get my computer working. Yep, there it goes. And we're going to take those 4 steps one at a time. So you really know what to practice. So break it up, practice each little chunk, and then put it all back together again. That's just a little intro. So let me just, when it gets to the song, I'm just going to play the melody as stated here. so let's talk about that a little bit. First of all, I have some pretty mellow, rich harmony going on under me. Got the strings going on, I got this going on. I mean, there is a mood that the harmony is trying to generate. So as an improviser, you got to get with that mood. So you certainly don't want to, you don't want to be, let me put that back on again. You don't want to be in contrast with that bed that's under you, right? You don't want to be doing this. You see how you're fighting the mood. Now, I could have put a different backing track on or changed the mood, but you get the point. The point is there is a mood that you and your band have agreed on and how you're going to approach this song. And really, to me, that's all music is. Music is designed to evoke emotion. That simple. It's that simple. It shouldn't be really a head thing. Although, in the beginning, when you're learning it, it's kind of heady. You're trying to learn this scale and pentatonic this and this, that, all this kind of stuff. But sooner or later, you got to get out of your head and just go to town with whatever it is you know. Maybe all you know is the major scale. Okay, that's what you know. Go to war with that. But get out of your head. Get that major scale down so that you know it. That way you can release that emotional part of the music. Okay, so now since I know that this is a 3 o'clock in the morning kind of vibe, well, I'm gonna get with that program. I hear the strings back here, so I'm gonna start milking this. Okay, so now if I put a different vibe on, which I'm not going to do it, you do your practice, but get the concept. Link up with the vibe, the bed, the emotion that's under you. Learn the lyrics to the song so that you know what the songwriter was trying to evoke. What is this autumn leaves thing all about? What are you trying to say to the audience? Now, do you want to, we've talked about lots of things. We've talked about pentatonics. We've talked about arpeggios. We've talked about all kind of stuff. Go back and watch those. Now, those are the tools we're bringing to this video because this is a kind of put it together, make some melodies out of that. So now, take one of those tools, I don't know, take, since we're in the key of G minor, that's a pentatonic scale I'm playing. In position number 2. Now, I want to stay right here and I want to practice just making step 1. Step 1 is create an idea. And I want to practice that. And now I can do that with my backing track. I can do that with my drone. I can do that with my looper pedal. I got all kinds of things. I can do it with a drum machine. I can do it with a metronome. But I am going to intentionally practice how many melodies can I come up with. So what I'm going to do now is make an attempt to demonstrate that. Now not what you remember, not what you've heard before. You are creating. So let's take that pentatonic scale. That could be an idea. There's another one. Something, an idea can be as simple. There's an idea. Let me stop just for a second and say, okay, let me back up a second. What is an idea? An idea, like speaking in language, is a word. You put words together, you make sentences. You put sentences together, you make paragraphs. You put paragraphs together, you got a speech. But if you don't know words, you can't get. All you got is alphabet, really. And you do need alphabet to make words, but you certainly don't speak in alphabet. You just don't. Nobody's going to understand you. So an idea is okay. So we were talking about the pentatonic scale. Okay, so now I have alphabet. Now let's make a word out of that alphabet. So a word or a idea is a combination of steps and skips. Some combination of steps and skips. So these are all steps. All steps. Now, remember, I can be playing any one of the pentatonics, any arpeggio, any major scale. You take this wherever you want to go with it. I just happen to choose this at random. Now, how do I turn these letters into some kind of word? A combination of step, skip. Watch Autumn Leaves. Autumn Leaves does exactly that. Step, 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 skip. Step, 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 skip. Step, step, skip. So let's take that to what we were doing. We were in this pentatonic pattern. I can make that's a step. I'm going down. Oh, that's Autumn Leaves again. That's another example. But I can do something else. I can do I can repeat. I can do. That's kind of a skip. So you want to look for some combination of steps and skips, and you can come up with thousands and thousands of ideas, and your hand never leaves it. So, but that's something you have to practice. So let's see what we can come up with here. So here we got. Step. Actually, that's another step. Step, skip. How many ideas can you come up with? You can repeat. Got a little skip on it. How many can you come up with? Keep going. Another one. copy me because I've said this 1,000 times. I'm not that good. But I don't care. I don't care. I'm not trying to impress anybody. And I'm not trying to go viral. If it helps one person, I am a happy guy, right? If a guy, because I know plenty of people who really wrestle with this thing called improvising. And so I'm trying to eliminate that. So share this video and this whole series with your buddies, with your horn players, with your piano players, with your string players, because these concepts kind of work. Now you might shift to another pattern. So I was kind of restricted to the pentatonic pattern, but right under my fingers is a major pattern. So now I got that. How many patterns can I come up with now? Let's see. Let me see. Step, step, skip. Could be skip, step, step. That's a skip. That's a skip, step. It's like dancing. You don't just lock yourself up. You kind of skip around a little bit. Now, sometimes the skip is big. Let's call it a leap. Let's call it a leap. It can be down. I was way up here, and I did, or I can do the other way. I think leaps are very romantic. Think of things like Over the Rainbow starts there with a big romantic leap. They're a little bit harder to play because you got to do the string crossing thing and all that kind of stuff on the guitar anyway. And they should be used sparingly. Steps and little skips are way more common than big romantic leaps, unless you're pretty advanced and you really know you got this basic bed under you and you want to take it further, then you do your thing. But for where we are, for the most part, you want to stay pretty close. So here's a good rule to remember. If you can sing it, it's probably a good melody. If you can whistle it, or you can hum it, or if you can sing it, da da da, or maybe da da da. See, I can sing that. Don't judge my singing. Na da, na da da. But nobody's gonna sing that. Nobody's going to sing that. So if you hear something, now obviously I can play it, but it's not singable. No, it's not. If it's not singable, it's not going to be catchy. Remember, you're playing for your audience to lock into what you're doing and kind of participate, if you know what I mean. So sit there, come up with ideas. Think close steps and then little skips. If you do too many steps, it's going to be calm. I almost said boring, but I'll say calm. So let's just do step, step, step. Oh, that was a skip. If you do step, 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 it's going to be calm. That skip throws just a dash of seasoning in. This is why arpeggios are so nice, because there's built-in space between them. But if you do too many skips, you're going to rattle the audience. So this combination of steps and skips is where the action is. you want to make up melodies on the fly, you have to practice making up melodies in your practice room. Just make them up, and then see how you like them. Now I said earlier, think in 2-bar phrases. So this song, this backing track I have is going pretty slow. It's only on 60. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. That's a bar. Here's another bar. Now, 2 bars. You better get out of there. Do something else. Go to step 2. Right now we're still in step 1. See if you can get your phrases contained within 2 bars. That means you got to listen to that drummer, the bass player. In other words, you can't be flying around. The bass player's on beat 1, you're on beat 3, you're on beat. So let's just put our instrument down and let's just see if we can. Let's go here. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. My phrase is over. 1. I'm on step 2. 3, 4, 1, 2. Step 3. I'm going to tell you what it is. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Step 4. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Now I didn't play a thing, but my mind frames the improvising to a certain space. Let's do that one more time. To idea generation, ING. Now step 2, repetition. 2, 3, or variation, whatever you want to call it. Forward motion, step 3, 2, 3, 4, 1. Now resolution. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're back at step 1. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's a form to this. You're like framing the room so that you can put your improv in a certain space. Your audience will drink that up. But if you are missing that framing, then you're going to have a little soupy. Now, again, you advanced guys know how to do that. You say, I'm not doing that. Because I know how to weave in and out, play inside, play outside. I got all that. I'm just talking to us regular people, us garage band kind of people. So, when we do idea generation, we're talking about the first 2 bars. We're coming up with an idea that we can develop. Where are you getting these ideas? From the tools I taught you in the last 5 videos. From a triad, from a arpeggio, from a major scale. You advanced cats can do it from a melodic minor scale, a Dorian scale, Mixolydian scale. But us regular people, we just gotta go with what we know. But that doesn't mean we can't come up with some nice music. Okay, step 2 is in the 3rd and 4th bars, generally speaking. And that's going to involve some kind of reinforcement of the idea that you just did in the first 2 bars. So, some kind of variation. It's kind of different, but it's the same. Look at autumn leaves. That's an idea. So that took 2 bars. Second time you hear the 3rd and 4th bar goes like this. That's the same rhythmically, but it's different melodically. Then we got motion, resolution. So let's talk about this step 2. So once you've really done your due diligence, you can come up with some ideas on the fly. No cheating, no licks, no, oh, I'm going to copy what I heard. You practice actually speaking. That's an idea. Now, some you like and some you don't like. I'm playing a lot of 3-note ideas. I don't want you to think that you have to play 3-note ideas. You can play 4-note ideas. That was a 5-note or something. That G note, there's your lick. Now let's add another note to that. Let's go. You can come up with thousands and thousands of these ideas. But let's take the famous Gino lick. That's fine for bars 1 and 2. Maybe that's your idea. Now practice varying that same idea. It can be rhythmically varied or melodically varied. So here's the idea. It's like question and answer, I guess you call it. And here's the variation. You say, well, that didn't sound the same, but listen to the rhythm. Your audience has to have something to latch on to. So let's think about, that's an example of rhythmic, consistent. The rhythm is the same, but the idea got varied. So here's the original idea. Let's change it. Let's come up with an answer to that idea. Okay, so that's how you get past the first 4 bars. So let me see if we can hear that. Hear how it works? Question, answer. Come up, practice making questions, practice making answers. Let me say a word about the space here. Space is a beautiful thing. People don't like it. They just want to feel space. You hear people giving a speech, because we hate space. I don't know why that is, but in music, just like in language, space is a beautiful thing. It's especially on slow songs like this. Space. It lets your audience lean their head back. Even on fast songs, you're gonna have less space, but relative space is still important. Now, if you hate space, you could do fills. It's almost like make sure that your fills are softer than your main idea. So you don't want to jump. What am I saying? So here's my main idea. Now, I like space, but maybe you don't. Or maybe you want this extra tool. So I'm going to play something to fill that space. Make sure that's softer, and so everybody knows that's a fill. So let's hear that. 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 louder, my space is softer. Soft, loud, soft. So your choice, let space happen. Think like a saxophone player, saxophone player can't do that, they gotta breathe, right? So they have to put in space or they're gonna pass out. But on the guitar, your fingers don't have to breathe, so you can get in trouble if you don't learn how to use space effectively. In other words, chew your food before you let your audience chew the food. You get the idea. Okay, let's move to step number. So we got idea generation, and then we got some kind of variation, question, answer. In other words, our improv is getting logical, it's making more sense, it's coming up in phrases rather than just alphabet soup, run-on sentences, that kind of thing. And it's creating a mood that you're trying to convey. Now the third thing is you need some kind of forward motion. Forward motion propels the improv. So you've now established the theme, you've established an idea, you've kind of varied it a little bit. Now let's push it. And pushing 90% of the time, what I hear and what I like to play is scale-wise. So let's hear some of that. Here's an idea, a Gino idea. Make sure you give that a whole 2 bars and then answer. Now let's push it. Now let's resolve it. I gave you all 4 steps that time. Idea generation, different idea, reinforce it, let's push it, now let's resolve it. One more time. Idea, another idea. Reinforce it. Now let's push it. Let's resolve it. Come up with a different idea. Reinforce it. Push. Resolve it. It's a formula that works. It works if you're now when you're in your practice room, you're thinking just like I was speaking. Idea, reinforce that idea, same different, question, answer, push, then resolve. But if you do that long enough, you don't have to think like that. It'll just come out naturally. So you're serving up a dish to your audience that they can eat. And so that push means you just gonna give it a little oomph, right? And that sometimes that means go up here and get higher notes. And it could mean a little bit faster rhythms. So let's see if we can do an example that's kind of simple. Here's that genoid. 2 bars. Now we need another bar. Answer. Now let's push it. Resolve. Think of this in 4 steps. So when I say push, I did a faster rhythm, but I could just walk up the scale. So here's some other push ideas. So let's take 1 string and let's come down. That's a push idea. So I know that on the E string I got this note, I got that note, got that note, I got that note, I got that note, and I got that note, right? So all I'm doing is skipping the note. That's a push idea. Use that for pushing. I don't have to skip a note. Those are push ideas. You can do that with the, let's say we were talking pentatonic scale. We had this. So I can skip a note. I can do something like that. Those are ideas to push. Triads are another great way to push. You can play triads up and down the neck, and you're kind of building a little crescendo. But wait till you get to that bar 3 to do that, because you need an idea. You've developed that idea in bar 3 and 4, or you've answered that, or some kind of variation. Now you push it, and then finally you bring it to some resolution. Okay, so the last step is resolution. So what am I talking about there? So let's see. It's just like bringing the train into the station, and you don't want run-on sentences. You just don't want that. So let me see here. So here's my that's a lick. That's a idea. Answer it. See that nice phrasing space? This is a push. Let's resolve it. Now I'll force you to come up with another lick. Push that. Let's resolve it. So, resolution, think both notes and melody notes as well as rhythm. So you're bringing that particular, and it's like putting a period at the end of the sentence or some kind of punctuation mark, so that that the audience can now digest what you just played. Now, you get around to the next bar, not bar, but the next. So that's 1, 2, 3, that's 12 bars, right? So if you did it according to this formula, I gave you 4 steps, 2 bars a piece, or 3 bars a piece, or 4 bars a piece. So you're going to be either 8 bars or 12 bars in, and it's going to loop around. It's going to have like a A, be a kind of form. When you get to the next section of the song, try to remember what you played the first time around. So let me go back over here. We're gonna let this run. So I'm gonna do the G note lick. That's my main theme hook. Time to push. It's time to resolve. Now we're coming around to the next section. I'm the variable. The audience instantly remembers two. Now it's time to push. Now it's time to resolve. Now we're wearing out Autumn Leaves in this series, and I guess that's because I like that song. And we're wearing out ballads to slower songs, but I believe the same concepts apply if you get to higher tempo songs. It just takes more technique and more finger dexterity, and you got to think faster when you're playing faster songs. That's why I picked these songs. Plus, I happen to like ballads. So approach your improv if you want to move away from this run-on, what Gino and I call typewriter. This is a way to do it. It's not the only way, but this is a way to get it all framed up. Get ideas and just sit with your instrument and force yourself to come up with 10, 12, 20, 30 different ideas that are originally yours, not something you're trying to remember. You don't want to stuff things in your brain because you want it to come out spontaneously, not something you remembered or playing over and over again. You are practicing composition on the fly, and in some kind of pattern, like an arpeggio pattern or major scale pattern or whatever tools you have. So we're stretching those tools. We're taking that tool out of the toolbox and then we're putting it to use. Now, form your improv into these 4 steps that I have outlined for you. Generate an idea. That's step 1. Reinforce that idea. That's step 2. Motion is step 3, and then resolution is and I think you'll be happy with what you'll come up with. There's such a thing as tension and release in music as well, and maybe I'll sit and make a video about that. But for right now, we have a song that's pretty mellow. It doesn't change keys, so this is a good song to practice with at our level. Anyway, have a great day. Gino, I'll see you on Monday, and we'll talk to the rest of you very soon.